Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Zach Winnick of the Bay Area Rivian Club and your host for this first episode of the Rivian Clubs of America podcast. It's January 16th, 2025, and like I said, I am Zach Winnick, and welcome to this first episode of the Rivian Clubs of America podcast. For those of you that are not familiar with Rivian Clubs of America, we are the largest collection of Rivian owners in the United States, including Puerto Rico, 600 members strong in 38 chapters, everywhere from Oregon all the way to Maine and Idaho all the way down to Florida. So how about that? Pretty awesome. You can check out more information about Rivian Clubs of America at rivianclubs.org, and be sure to check out all of our membership information. You get some awesome benefits for being a member of Rivian Clubs of America, including a free membership to Tread Lightly as long as your membership with RCA renews. So that's pretty cool. There's also some other discounts from some vendors that we've partnered with as well. And you can find out all that information, like I said, at rivianclubs.org. So let me tell you a little bit about this podcast and what we're trying to accomplish with this. Obviously bring more awareness to RCA. Also bring you the latest in Rivian news. And also spotlight our community, not just Rivian Clubs of America members, but also standout people in the Rivian community as well. A lot of you may know me from my other podcast, Rivian Rundown. I host that with Isaiah from Rivian Updates. And we've had people on like Michael Cusick, who was out in Asheville, North Carolina. He's the guy that had the R1T that got swept up in the hurricane and has been doing a lot of hurricane relief and cleanup and support out there. We've also had Chad Moran on. He's the guy that runs RivianRoamer.com, which I'm sure there's got to be at least one person out there that got their Rivian R1T or R1S through that site. If you haven't checked it out, RivianRoamer.com is pretty awesome. If you are a Rivian owner, definitely sign up for the site. It's free. There's a lot of really cool things, and Chad's always adding more features to the site all the time. A little bit about myself, if you don't know who I am. Like I said, I am Zach Winnick. I am the community director of the Bay Area Rivian Club. I've been a member of Rivian Clubs of America as well as the Bay Area Rivian Club since May of 2024, when I purchased my 2023 R1T Quad Motor Launch Edition. It is in Red Canyon, so I am probably now the third rarest color behind Compass Yellow and Launch Green, which is pretty awesome. And apparently it might be a little bit more rare if some of the rumors are true, but we're not going to get into those. If you want to find out more about what I'm talking about, check out RivianTracker.com. It's run by Jose Castillo down in Florida. He is a Rivian Clubs of America member as well. And he runs RivianTracker.com, TRACKR.com. Great source for news. In fact, some of the news that we're going to talk about here in a couple seconds is going to be from his website as well. So, enough about other people. Let's talk about this show. So this podcast, like I said, is going to feature, it's going to be a weekly podcast, and it's going to feature Rivian news every week. So all the fun stuff that happens that Rivian's been putting out, there's basically been something every week for as long as I can remember in the past year. We're going to feature a lot of the Rivian Clubs of America chapters across the country as well, some of the events that they're doing, and just kind of like what's going on with the organization. And then hopefully later on, we're going to be having some special guests stop by to do some interviews, feature some community members, some of the chapter leads across the organization as well, some of the members in those chapters, and to give us recaps of events that they've done, or to talk about their experience with owning a Rivian. Things like that. So it's, a lot of fun stuff, casual conversations. Like I mentioned before, if you've watched or listened to Rivian Rundown, it's not going to be exactly like that. We're going to gear this a little bit more towards Rivian ownership as opposed to just kind of like hanging out. So that's kind of the plan. And I hope you all enjoy it. And I hope you all stick with us. And maybe do some video later on down the road where, the podcast will be video and audio. I figure a lot of us are always in our cars driving around and can't watch video while you're driving, so you might as well have something to listen to. And I've been told I have a pleasant voice, so let's go with that. Okay, so enough of me rambling. Let's get into some of the news that has happened the past couple of weeks, because it is January 2025, new year, new stuff. So first off, I was holding off all day to record this episode because today we finally got the news that Rivian and the U.S. Department of Energy have finally finalized their loan agreement. So Rivian now has $6.6 billion in financing to help support the construction of the new plant that they're going to be building in Stanton Springs, Georgia. So that's really exciting. I will drop links to all the news articles and everything that I read and feature on the show in the show notes. So if you are using any form of podcast app, you should be able to see the show notes and be able to tap on the links on your phone, or you can go to the website for the podcast as well, which should be included somewhere. I have not determined where it is yet. That's why I'm not giving you the address, just in case you listen to this later. Hopefully it'll be at podcast.rivianclubs.org or rivianclubs.org/podcast. There's a long story behind that. If you ever want to know about it, hit me up on X at Zach Winnick and DM me, and I will tell you the story. Anyway, Department of Energy loan. So according to Rivian, they intend to build the facility in Stanton Springs in two phases, or what they're calling blocks. Each block will represent or result in 200,000 units of capacity and production out of that facility. So the first block will be able to produce 200,000 vehicles a year. Think about that. So construction of the Stanton Springs, Georgia plant will begin in 2026, and it is expected to be completed around 2028, and that's when they're going to start production of the R2 and the R3 in Georgia. So initially, I know that we have the first deliveries of R2 and R3 coming in the first part of 2026. So those will be produced alongside the R1Ts and the R1Ss in Normal, Illinois at the current plant, which is actually also going under an expansion as we speak. I don't have any news on that at the moment, but if you are on X or Instagram, definitely follow Rivian Tracker, Rivian Updates for that news. They are the best sources for finding that out. Oh, as well as Mike Kantorski. He's got some great videos on YouTube as well that talk about Rivian news. He does a weekly video show on YouTube, and it is great. He actually did a little segment on a website that I run for the community called code2adventure.com, where if you have not purchased a Rivian or are looking to purchase a second one, you go to code2adventure.com and it will show you a random referral code from a user that submitted it. So we have over 650 referral codes in the database. And every time you refresh that page, it's a brand new one. You just click on the button, takes you right to the R1 shop. You can purchase your vehicle there. You get $500. The person that referred you or whose code you use gets $500. And you both get 6 months of free charging at the Rivian Adventure Network chargers. So it's pretty cool. We'll talk a little bit more about that program in a minute. I do have a news item about that. But yeah, so if you wanted to read the loan agreement and Rivian's information, like I said, just follow the links in the show notes for that. It will take you directly to Rivian's press release that they released today. And there's a link in there. They put together like a little packet that will explain how they're planning on utilizing the loan. So that's pretty awesome. So congratulations to Rivian. Makes things even more exciting for the R2 and the R3 next year. So it's just another piece of the puzzle. And hopefully we'll hear some more info now that they got that in place about R2 production and R3 production soon. So hopefully this summer, crossing my fingers. All right, next piece of news that I would like to share with you all is that Rivian has signed an agreement with the South by Southwest Festival in Texas. And basically for the next 2 years, what they're saying is that South by Southwest will be driven by Rivian. I like how that rhymes. I just thought about that. So Rivian signed a 2-year headlining sponsorship agreement with South by Southwest. And so basically they're going to build a space that they're calling the Electric Roadhouse, and it's going to show their vision of what a sustainable future is going to look like. And it should be really cool. Rivian will also have a very large presence at the festival, and it looks like RJ Scaringe, the CEO of Rivian, if you don't know, will be giving a keynote speech during South by Southwest as well. And R2 will be on site. So for those of you that live in the Austin area and have not seen R2 yet, it will be at South by Southwest. I know that it's going to be a madhouse. I've lived and worked in Austin during South by Southwest. So if you want to make it down to the convention center to check out R2, I definitely recommend it. I know it's a pain in the butt, like I said, but definitely go check that out. That's going to be from March 7th to March 15th. And you can pick up tickets by searching for South by Southwest. Some other piece of news, it is a little bit left over from last year, December, but Rivian is starting to open up all of the Rivian Adventure Networks, lovingly called RANs, to other cars that are not Rivians, to non-Rivians. So the first location that this was able to be done was the brand new Outpost in Joshua Tree, which is in Southern California in the high desert just outside of Palm Springs. It is their newest location and does have RANs out front, and a few of them are open to non-Rivian vehicles. So Rivian is calling it the next generation of the RAN. And Rivian is also looking to open additional charging locations that are open to everybody in Texas, Colorado, Illinois, Montana, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New York. So these are the newer designed posts, and they can support up to 900 volts. They are all CCS, so if you do drive a Tesla and want to connect to one of these, you do need to have the CCS to NACS adapter, not the NACS to CCS, the other way. And for those cars that only have NACS, which there are a few coming out this year, you will need an adapter as well for that. And I do recommend A2Z. No affiliate link. I'm just a huge fan of their product. I love their adapter. Their customer service is fantastic. Their CEO is amazing. I always see him pop up on YouTube videos all the time. He's very transparent, very well-spoken, really knows his product and his customers, which is fantastic. So I will have a link to the press release on that in the show notes as well. And then just to kind of move on from that as well, living in California, a lot of you guys know about all of the crazy fires that are going on in the LA area. I am originally from the LA area. I actually grew up maybe about if there was no traffic, about a half an hour to 40 minutes north of where all of the fires are taking place. And actually, before I moved up to the Bay Area, I was living in an area that was affected by the fires. I was living in the Agoura Hills, Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village area. So that's right on the other side of the hill from Malibu and the Pacific Palisades and things like that. So there's a lot of great fundraising opportunities that where people are raising funds for fire relief, if you will. Obviously, one of those companies that has been helping out is Rivian, and that's why we're here to kind of learn about Rivian and what they're doing. I found this story from Rivian Tracker as well, that Rivian has been loaning trucks to the LAPD and LAFD to help fight the wildfires, not to like help go into the fires and fight them, but just because they need more vehicles to help cover. And I thought that was really awesome. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. Rivian also committed to helping out in any way that they can. I've seen stories pop up on Threads and X of people who have met representatives from Rivian in their community there helping out and everything. And one of the awesome things that Rivian did for everybody was open up some of the RAN chargers in Southern California to be free. So that way anybody leaving the area or needing to evacuate or go somewhere outside of where they live because they were affected by the fires, they are able to charge their Rivians for free at any of the Southern California RAN locations, which is fantastic. I was trying to stall while I pulled up this note that Rivian released a couple days ago in regards to the fires. And if you will allow me, I will just read it to you. I just thought it was incredibly awesome, and it kind of covers everything that I was just talking about. So here we go. Our hearts are with Los Angeles and everybody affected by the devastating wildfires. Over the past week, many of our colleagues, along with family, friends, and loved ones, have faced unimaginable loss and challenges. We stand in full support of the impacted communities. We are We're continuously working to support affected owners and engaging with local officials and organizations to understand how we can best assist recovery efforts as needs evolve. To start, we've deployed vehicles to support the World Central Kitchen, the LaBelle Foundation, Open Closet, Solar Punks, and more to transport clothing, relief supplies, and support emergency response. We are also in discussions with first responders on further assistance. To ease the burden of evacuations and facilitate delivery of aid from our incredible owner community, no-cost DC fast charging was made available to Rivian vehicles at Rivian Adventure Network sites within 150 miles of Los Angeles. San Bernardino, Buttonwillow, Barstow, Inyo Kern, and Joshua Tree are all available for free. And Joshua Tree, of course, is open to all EVs. With so many evacuating south, we're honored to offer the Rivian South Coast Theater in Laguna Beach as a place to rest, charge devices, or hop on our Wi-Fi, or to simply find a moment of peace. Our doors are open. We are deeply grateful to the first responders, firefighters, and volunteers working tirelessly to protect lives and homes across LA. Take care and stay safe. Rivian. I thought that was really awesome. That's just amazing. Right? Like, I know that Tesla was out there deploying mobile supercharging locations. There's one actually down the street from where I used to live in Agoura Hills, the Thousand Oaks one, which is great. It's just been awesome to see the outpouring of love, if you will, in the community. I know as somebody who lived in an area on the other side of the San Fernando Valley that's always affected by fires, we always appreciated people coming up and helping out with our community as well when I was living there. And fortunately, that only happened twice while I lived there. I don't remember the years, but only had to evacuate once, and we were under evacuation watch the first time, and then the second time we had to evacuate. So, but just being, LAPD, LAFD, all the firefighting crews from around the state and other states and other countries coming down to help. It's just been amazing. Fortunately, I don't know anybody that has lost anything that I know of. But as somebody that is very proud of where they come from, God, I'm like getting emotional. It just saddens me to see the destruction and everything. And the area in the Palisades that's been affected the most is my favorite place in all of Los Angeles. There's a spot a little bit north of Malibu that is kind of like my Zen place that I would always go to if I needed to just get away. And that part was affected by the fires. And I haven't been there yet, but hopefully it'll come back. Well, it'll all come back and it'll be better than ever, which is awesome. All right, enough of the emotional stuff. Let's talk about some more Rivian news. Let's see, what do we got here? So at the beginning of the new year, there have been some changes to the referral program. You can, like I said earlier, you can get all of your... If you need a referral code, code2adventure.com is your place. Just go there, click on the button, and it'll take you right to the R1 shop, and you'll be able to purchase your car through there. No need to remember anybody's referral code. No need to ask anybody for a referral code. You are more than welcome to if you'd like. But it's just an easy way for you to get the credit for the points as well as the 6 months of free RAN charging. And then whoever's code you use, they get the 500 points and the 6 months of free RAN charging as well. So I do say 500 points. If you've heard otherwise, it's because the program did change in January, or at the beginning of January. It used to be 750 points or $750 in the gear shop, or $750 towards the cost of a new vehicle. Rivian did lower that to 500, and say what you will, they raise the prices of some of the gear in the gear shop, and then they lower the amount of points that you get and dollars you are able to spend for free. It's a good way to make profit, I guess, but okay, it is what it is, right? If you are a Rivian owner and you do use your referral code and somebody uses it, you will now be able to find out who that was. I can confirm that if somebody used your referral code prior to January 1st, but their referral or their purchase wasn't confirmed on your account until after January 1st, there is no way for you to find out who it is. But going forward from January 1st, now you'll be able to see who used your referral code and thank them if you'd like, which is really awesome. And I will have a link to all of that, the terms and conditions, as well as what the rewards are in the show notes. So if you want to take a deeper dive, you are more than welcome to do that. And then also, speaking of stuff for January, Rivian is offering a few deals. So if you are in the market for a brand new R1, either R1S or R1T, you will be able to take advantage of some of these offers. The first one is 1.99% APR for 60 months. So if you're looking at an R1S or R1T with the dual motors and the max battery pack and the performance upgrade, you will be able to lock in the 1.99% APR for 60 months if you take delivery by February 28th. So that's pretty awesome. If you are looking for the XPEL Stealth PPF wrap on your vehicle, and you are eyeing an El Cap Granite or Midnight Black color, you will be able to get that available on your vehicle as well. It is an additional option. And then, of course, at least for the foreseeable future, asterisk, you are still able to get the $7,500 federal EV tax credit as well. So if you're looking to lease your vehicle, you do get that $7,500. It does come right off the cost of the vehicle before you finalize your loan agreement. So when you're looking at the pricing of the vehicles, just subtract $7,500. If you use somebody's referral code, subtract another $500. So you can subtract $8,000 off the cost of the vehicle. That's pretty awesome, right? Like, I mean, come on. So hopefully that sticks around. Those are all of the new deals and offers for January from Rivian. And be sure to keep listening to the podcast because I'll talk more about any other ones that do pop up. All right, so now let's get into some of the nerdy stuff, right? So somebody did find that Rivian filed for a patent on heated headlight lenses. So a lot of people who drive in snow, is that what it's called? It's called snow. I don't know what snow is. I live in California. I have no idea what snow is. It's January 16th. It's 60 degrees outside. It's perfectly clear, sunny. It's gorgeous. I walked down to go get my mail and I'm wearing like a t-shirt and shorts. I haven't seen rain in months. I don't know what snow is, but Rivian did file for a patent that does have heated headlight lenses. So that's the plastic covering that goes over the stadium lights on the front of the vehicle. And it looks to be pretty cool. It's going to use nanotubes. So there'll be like a nanotube layer running through the, there'll be like a bar around the outside of the light where the plastic and the light come together. So they're going to have like a heating element in there. That's what the patent looks to accomplish. There's a lot of technical terms, carbon nanotubes and less than nanometers and like all this stuff. But if you want to find out more information, like I said, I will have a link to the story that I saved from Green Car Reports in the show notes. You can see some pictures of it and look at some high-res images and check it out for yourself. And there are probably people that are way smarter than me that'll be able to interpret it a little bit better. If you'd like, send me an audio clip of yourself explaining it and I'll play it on the next episode or a future episode. I did see, moving on, I did see a video that was making the rounds where there's a company called 3X, where they're taking Open Pilot, which is a automated driver assist system, which is open source, and they connected it to an R1S and basically gave it an enhanced autopilot, and it was a Gen 1 R1S. Not autopilot, sorry, enhanced driver plus. If you want to see the video, I'm going to link to it in the show notes. You can also join their Discord group, 3X. There's a channel on there for Rivian R1s. If you feel so inclined, you can speak to the developer, the person that's working on this particular project, and see if you can get in as a beta tester. I've tried a couple of times and I've gotten ignored. So all good. Probably full. Probably have enough people testing it. There was like at least 5 messages every hour where somebody was at, "Hey, I have an R1. Can I get on this?" And then I'll throw in some links to a couple of other stories that aren't necessarily super important, but they'll be at the bottom there, including Mate Rimac talking about how he wants to own a Rivian. Guy builds like the most expensive cars in the world and wants to own a Rivian. So what does that tell you about that? The headline or the picture from Inside EVs is him over an R3. So take that as you will. And then I'll also link to a story or video from Unreal Fest, which happened in Seattle last year. And it's basically a talk about how Rivian uses the Unreal Engine to build their new interfaces on the screens. So that's pretty cool. And that'll do it for the news section of the podcast. So hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any suggestions or if you would like to submit news to that, I'm always on X and Blue Sky. Those are my social media apps of choice. You can find me on ICK. I also do have a Rivian starter pack. So people that are in the community on Blue Sky and that post to Blue Sky, you can get started with that starter pack. And I also do have a list on there as well. And it's basically the same people. So check me out on there. Send me any articles or any suggestions or hints or anything on there as well. So upcoming on the podcast next week, the show will be a little bit delayed. I'm going to try to release these on Thursdays or Fridays. And just because end of the week, and then that way we get all of the news for the week from the last show, and usually some breaking news and things like that happens like on the back half of the week. Show will be delayed a little bit because next weekend on the 25th, Rivian is doing the grand opening for the brand new San Francisco space on Fell Street in downtown San Francisco. Of course, being a part of the Bay Area Rivian Club, I will be there with bells on. And I will be covering it for the podcast and hope to get some video as well as some audio and meet up with some of the executives from Rivian that are going to be there, as well as some of the management of the space as well, just to kind of talk to them, get their vision for what the space will be utilized for, how they're going to run it, things like that. And then also talk to some of the members in the community as well, and what the space means to them and how they're going to utilize it also. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a crazy party. We got people coming in from Oregon. We got people coming in from Nevada. We got people coming up from LA. It's going to be a party. So if you have a free weekend and want to come out to San Francisco, come hang out with us. We'll be there all day on Saturday. Rivian is hosting a caravan from Pier 30 and Pier 32, which is right underneath the Bay Bridge. And we're going to have a caravan of hundreds of Rivians, it feels like, from there to the space. It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive. And then we're all going to hang out at the space and have some lunch and just kind of mingle. And then they're also hosting the Hayes Street night market that night as well. I won't be there for that. It's past my bedtime, even on a Saturday. But I do know a bunch of people that are going to go to that. And it's I believe it's a weekly or monthly occurrence that they do in downtown San Francisco. And friends of the Bay Area Rivian Club, and I'm sure a lot of you a lot of you guys are familiar with them as well. Thunderbolt Adventure Supply. They're usually down there. Matt and Sarah always like to hang out. I know that they were there for the first night market of the season about a month ago, and they were there kind of showing off their R1T with their camp kitchen and all their new gear that they've been making. They are definitely a couple of people that I would love to have on this show. So Matt, Sarah, if you guys are listening, let's talk, because I got some other ideas for you guys too. So yeah, that'll be the next episode. It'll probably be Monday the 27th that show will come out. I'll throw all my thoughts into a show, and it'll be kind of like a special episode / regular episode where we'll talk about my thoughts about the space and a couple of the other events that have been going on. There's some things that I'm not allowed to talk about that are happening on that day as well, and we'll talk about that and hopefully have some media to go along with it, visual media. All right, so that's going to do it for the podcast today. If you would like to submit anything or have any interest in either being on the show, sponsoring the show, anything like that, you can email me, Zach, Z-A-K, at rivianclubs.org. It comes right to my mailbox, and we can talk. So you can also always hit me up, like I said, on X, at Zach Winnick, ZAKWINNICK, or at Rivian Clubs on X as well. I've started a X account for RCA, And if you are interested in becoming an RCA member, definitely check out rivianclubs.org and be sure to sign up for a membership. $60. It starts at $60 a year, and you get way more in value from that. So not only do you get all the discounts and the free membership to tread lightly, but you also get a community. And you get a lot of people that you can go hang out with on a weekend, or go do a scenic drive, or go off-roading, or go hang out for a weekend and watch movies. There's a club near you where you can go and check that out. And be sure to check out the chapters tab on rivianclubs.org. Even if you live in an area where you don't have a chapter, and let's say you know 3 or 4 other people that own Rivians, or you see other people in your area that own Rivians and there is not a chapter near you, start a chapter. All it takes is 5 people. You can just email us, admin@rivianclubs.org, and we'll get you set up. We're actually transitioning our community, if you will, to a new community app called Halo, which will make everything's super easy. We'd have a template. So all you have to do, if you start the club, we give you access to the template. You can set up your club however you want. You can leave it as the default. We do take care of all the graphics. We take care of everything else. You get to be covered under the organization's insurance, because we're a 501c7 organization. So we have blanket insurance for any events where you would need to have insurance for. So a lot of the off-roading events and things like that, members sign a waiver. You're covered under the insurance. The event's covered under the insurance. If anything happens, you're good. Only at official RCA events. So it's pretty awesome. If you want to know more, like I said, rivianclubs.org, or you can always message me at any of the media, social or otherwise, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Really appreciate y'all listening and hanging out with me. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your podcast app of choice if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. And remember to stay adventurous.